You're listening to Emerson Whitner's NXT Report on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. My name is Emerson Whitner, and this is your NXT audio update for Wednesday, November 25th, 2015. It is Thanksgiving Eve here in the United States, and I do want to wish a big happy Thanksgiving to all my American listeners. And let's get on to, shockingly, a fun episode of NXT. I say shockingly just because of the main event. We start the show with Michael Cole in the ring to oversee the contract signing for the Finn Balor Samoa Joe title match at NXT TakeOver. Cole is booed except for when he mentions that Mr. Regal has undergone successful surgery on his neck and will be back soon. The booing continues when Cole mentions that with Mr. Regal on the shelf, he is in charge of NXT. I wasn't sure if he's only in charge of NXT this week or for the next few weeks, but I guess we'll see in the future. With that, Finn Balor comes out for the contract signing. Balor takes the mic and told Joe he's not entitled to the NXT title and plans on sticking his foot down Joe's throat. Samoa Joe decided to break the world's record for quickest contract signing ever. He stormed the ring, signed the contract, and immediately turned around and walked away without saying a word. Balor yelled at him, calling him a coward, trying to get Joe to stick around, but Joe was having none of it. So Finn began walking away, but of course when he gets to the top of the ramp, Joe attacked him from out of nowhere. He threw Finn back into the ring. They punched each other for a little bit, but Joe got the best of it and choked out Finn for the second time with a Coquina clutch. We got an NXT Tag Team title rematch with Dash and Dawson defending against the Vaudevillains. Just 2 weeks ago, the Vaudevillains ended their title reign by dropping the belts to Dash and Dawson. The champs got the heat on English by dropping him with a single-arm DDT. After working on his arm for not very long at all, Gotch got the hot tag, and he went all manly on their foes until Dawson knocked his head off with a clothesline. Both teams went for their finish at different points, but it got reversed by both teams. However, at the end of the day, Dash blind tagged himself in, the champs hit their wacky move, and retained the championship. As the champs celebrated, we saw the return of Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. The fans exploded as Enzo and Cass laid a hurtin' on the champs. Dash and Dawson were sent packing, and it looks like their future foes have been decided. Backstage to Mr. Regal's office, where Eva Marie was sitting on his desk. Tom Phillips asked her why. She simply said it's because she needs more space to get ready. Eva then went on to say that Bayley is a swell girl, but we need a real woman to be champion. She said that she's happy to have the support of the entire WWE Universe before showing a bunch of gift bags that were sent to her from the producers of Total Divas. At that point, she introduced Nia Jax as her best friend and said that nothing beats friendship. The theme of this show, as you'll quickly find out, is that WWE Corporate had the fix-in this match. I forgot to mention that Michael Cole also mentioned in the opening that Mr. Regal actually ixnayed the title match. However, WWE Corporate went over his head and ordered the match to happen. They showed a video with a bearded man playing guitar. They didn't name him. They didn't even show his entire face. They just showed his beard and his guitar. I believe it's safe to assume he's coming to NXT. Just have no idea who it is. We were supposed to have a match between Asuka and Dana Brooke, but it never got started. Back at NXT TakeOver, Asuka debuted by beating Dana Brooke all over the arena, while Dana did not learn her lesson and was here for a rematch, or so we thought. Dana walked to the ring cutting a promo, and Emma attacked Asuka from behind. Asuka laid her out quickly, but when Asuka turned her attention back to Dana, Emma attacked a second time, put her in the Emma lock, and the heel duo walked off together with no match ever happening. However, as she got back to her feet, I should point out that Asuka smiled at the heels. And I would like to say, someone is going to die. Bayley was backstage and cut a promo saying that Eva Marie is very pretty, and she does have WWE corporate on her side, but the difference is Bayley is a wrestler, and tonight she will show Eva why she is the women's champion. They announced the good news that Sami Zayn will be returning soon, so hooray for that. And then we got Apollo Crews versus Jesse Sorensen. Jesse Sorensen has been on NXT 3 or 4 times already. He's the guy most famous for breaking his neck on a live TNA pay-per-view once. But the announcers acted like this was a brand new acquisition. And I thought, oh, well, maybe they got something in store for him. Well, Apollo Crews beat him about a minute and a half. Sorensen got in just enough offense, so it wasn't a total squash. However, Apollo just beat on him, and won with a sit-out powerbomb. After the match, Crews officially accepted Baron Corbin's challenge to a match at TakeOver. I honestly thought he did that last week, but little do I know. Backstage, Baron Corbin immediately replied with a promo saying that Apollo is going to be the answer to the trivia question someday because no one will remember him except as that guy who did that one thing that one time. Before the main event, Charles Robinson, WWE senior official, walked to the ring, and at first I thought he was going to replace the referee in the ring. However, instead they were just he was there and introduced to the fans, and the WWE corporate sent him down here to show that there would be no controversy in this match. They did announce that next week Samoa Joe will go one-on-one with Tommaso Ciampa, and that led us to the main event where Bayley defended her women's title against Eva Marie. Now, this was not the first time these two ladies wrestled. Last year, around July, they tried to re-debut Eva Marie. Some of you may remember this. And she had an atrocious match with Bayley. Just horrible, horrendous. You can't say enough bad things about how bad that match was. It was so bad, it finished 5th in the worst match of the year in the Observer Awards last year. Eva Marie did have Nia Jax there for immoral support, while Bayley had the cheering adulation of 300 screaming fans. She had quite the reaction when she got out there, and they really pushed the idea this whole match that WWE Corporate is trying to set up Eva Marie winning here. I did want to note that when they dimmed the lights for the introductions, Eva Marie stood there and posed like a model, while Bayley just stared at her and shook her head at the audacity of the challenger. Eva, I want to point out, this was a fun match. Okay, it was not the horrendous, horrible match that I'm sure most people figured it would be. But, it was fun. Eva, if I don't know how to say this. Eva may have potential. She does some things well. She does them slowly. But, I don't know if it's better for them to do slowly and have them come up and have them be completed and not mess it up, or if she should be trying to do them faster and possibly mess it up. But, for now, she's learning. It's the nicest thing I'll say about her tonight is that she's learning. Eva Marie hit a suplex and went for the pin. Of course, Bayley kicked out. Bayley immediately hit the Bayley to belly suplex. It has the referee, the original referee, was counting to 3. Nia Jax ran around the ring, yanked him so hard out of the ring that his head smashed off the mats outside, injuring him. So Charles Robinson took over and conveniently had his back turned every time Nia Jax would interfere, which led the announcers to say that, this is proof that he's trying to help Eva Marie win. Let's see here. Bayley went for a corner charge at one point to make her comeback, but Charles Robinson literally stepped in front of her, claiming that because Eva was in the corner, she was in the ropes, and thus Bayley should not be attacking her in the ropes. Eva hit the Kendrick at one point, and for 2.5 seconds, I thought the worst had happened. I thought Eva Marie was champion. But no, Bayley kicked out. Eva went for the Kendrick a second time, but Bayley pushed her into Charles Robinson, knocking him out of the ring. Nia interfered yet again, but Bayley worked her way outside the ring and yanked Nia off the apron, which laid her out. At that point, Eva Marie was sitting on the middle rope, so Bayley ran in, gave her a Bayley-to-belly suplex from the middle rope. The original referee ran back into the ring, counted the 3, and yes, Bayley is still your champion. Like I said, a fun match. They kept it simple. They used a lot of smoke and mirrors, and, it was a watchable match, and the fans were into it, so all's good. After the match, Nia did lay Bayley out, so I think we know who our next challenger is going to be. Nia Jax laid her out with 2 leg drops, actually. And so that does it for NXT. It was a fun show this week, especially if you watched last week's show. Make sure you watch this week's show, because last week was just bad. This week was good. And before I let you go, just a quick plug. Wrestling Outsiders podcast on TalkShoe.com. Our 99th episode, we interviewed the great Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. I know Stevie J has a link on it in his daily update today. Plus, you can always just check out my Twitter at TheReallyRealEW. And that's going to do it for this week. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you all again in 7 days.
You're listening to Emerson Whitner's NXT Report on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.